Welcome back to Ring of Fire. I'm Mike Papantonio. Republicans have used the IRS scandal to try to take down the Obama administration. But if you look at the facts, there is no scandal. The Tea Party deserved exactly what they got. And I have Farron Cousins from the Trial Lawyers magazine with me now to tell us why. Farron, I almost want to gag every time I hear a Democrat or a Democratic pundit or somebody in the Beltway apologizing about the fact that the IRS actually did their job and they went after Tea Party scammers. Doesn't that kind of lay out what happened here?
It's completely pathetic that anybody, a Democrat, anybody from this administration, from the IRS, should come out and apologize for what they did. They did nothing wrong. If you look at the history of these Tea Party groups, you know, they actually started back in the 1990s. I think around 1994, the tobacco industry started creating these Tea Party groups. They referred to them as Tea Parties, and they used corporate money to go out there and protest the federal excise tax. And it worked so well that in '95, you had the Koch brothers come in, start pouring money into these tobacco Tea Parties to start protesting other issues.
So after Citizens United, what we saw happen, Farron, is we saw the same crowd, the Koch brother billionaire inheritance babies, saying, hey, we have a new thing we can do with these Tea Party creatures. We can have them apply for a 501c4, and where the taxpayers end up having to pay for these Tea Party types showing up on the corners of their small towns, holding up signs of Obama depicted as a monkey or as a Marxist, and then taxpayers pay for that. And the real great thing that these billionaire inheritance babies wanted is we never know who gave the money because it's anonymous, right?
Right. And, you know, Citizens United is more of a symptom than a cause of this. You see, Citizens United allowed these corporate groups to buy political ads without having to disclose who's putting these ads out. But the 501c4 allows them to do the same thing, except they also get the tax advantage. So again, it's corporate America saying, wow, well, we want to put these ads out. We don't want them to know it's us, but how can we also make money doing it? So this is the perfect storm of political corruption, tax cheats, and everything you can imagine that's wrong with our democracy.
But Farron, isn't this another example of Democrats getting hammered again because they allow the crazy right wing to try to define the narrative? The narrative goes up and the media doesn't have enough sense to ask the questions. Well, was what the IRS doing, was it good? Was it proper? Was there an abuse of the process? And the Democrats, again, get beat because they don't have anybody to deliver the narrative.
Well, you know what should have happened is you should have had Democrats, you should have had Obama or Eric Holder or even somebody in the media come out and say, you know what? When a member of your organization, one of your Tea Party crazies, flies a plane into an IRS building in Texas, you open yourself up for scrutiny. When you're carrying around signs on Capitol Hill that say abolish the IRS, you open yourself up to scrutiny. We're not going to give you a tax break for saying that we should be shut down. I mean, that is a giant red flag. Anyone in the IRS should have said, wait a second, we're giving them tax breaks to say that we should be abolished? This doesn't seem right. Who is pulling the strings?
Farron, isn't the real part of the problem here also? They don't, look, what the IRS has not said to them, we're not going to give you a 501c4. They simply have said, if you apply, we want to know what your organization does. Is it a social welfare organization and not a political organization? The problem is the Tea Partiers don't want to sign that affidavit. They don't want to sign those forms because they can be prosecuted for lying. They can be prosecuted for perjury. They can be prosecuted for fraud. So nobody wants to put their name on that. So the IRS says, well, okay, you know, if you don't want to apply, if you don't want to do all these things, we are not going to allow you to have a 501c4. What's unreasonable about that?
There's absolutely nothing unreasonable about it. But what happens is that the Tea Party, you almost feel a bit of sympathy for them. Yes, they're hateful, they're misinformed, they're unintelligent, but at the same time, they don't even realize that they're being taken advantage of by these corporate masters like the Koch brothers and the Chamber of Commerce. And it's those people who are out there doing all of this fundraising. You know, you take a group like True the Vote and their little spinoff King Street Patriots. They raised $12 million this last election cycle, and they spent $3 million on social welfare activities. Well, that's all well and good, but
where did the other $9 million go?
Exactly. The other $9 million, I'll tell you where it went. Mother Jones did a fantastic investigation with not just King Street Patriots, but all of these groups. It went to Republican candidates. It went to the GOP, the main fundraising arm of the Republican Party. It went there. They know that. They have the documents. Those are readily available. So for these groups to get all in a tizzy saying, well, you shouldn't be targeting us, no, we should. We see where your money is going. It's not going towards social welfare programs. It's not going towards educating the public. It is going directly towards the benefit and of the Republican Party. They are promoting candidates for office, which is strictly prohibited.
Just to close, the American Action Network took 80% of their social welfare money went to affect elections in the last cycle, all of which were conservative right-wing types. So for the media not to say, you know what, did the IRS do something wrong? Not to be able to ask those questions intelligently is an embarrassment for the media, and it certainly is for Democrats that are apologizing. Farron Cousins, thank you for joining me.